At the heart of the football pitch, where the roar of the crowd fades and all that's left is raw responsibility, stands a boy who learned early that strength meant standing alone. This is the story of Genzo Wakabayashi. Genzo was born into a world of privilege, but comfort never brought him closeness. His family gave him everything he could want, except for emotional warmth. His parents were distant figures, their focus locked on success, reputation, and results. Praise was a currency rarely spent, while failure was simply unacceptable. From a young age, Genzo absorbed a cold, simple truth: your value has to be earned, and weakness must never be shown. This harsh lesson followed him onto the football field. While other kids chased the glory of scoring goals, Genzo chose the one position defined by isolation and pressure: the goal. It was a place of absolute accountability, where a single mistake could undo an entire team's effort. For Genzo, that was the appeal: if he stood alone, then the outcome was his alone to control. From the start, his talent was undeniable. His reflexes were like lightning, his timing was perfect, and his focus was unbreakable. He didn't just play. He studied the game with an obsessive intensity, analyzing every shot, every angle, every movement. Soon, a reputation began to build. Opponents feared him. Goals against him became a rarity. Clean sheets became the norm. The legend of an unbeatable goalkeeper was born. This reputation became Genzo's entire identity. Being scored on wasn't just a mistake, it was a deep, personal failure. He started to believe that relying on his teammates was a risk he couldn't afford. Trust was inefficient. Why depend on others when he could stop everything himself? This belief forced him into a cold, commanding presence on the field and kept him distant off it. Friendships felt like a distraction. Football wasn't a game to be enjoyed, it was a domain to be dominated. For a long time, this philosophy worked. He was the impenetrable wall, the ultimate guardian. But as the competition grew fiercer, cracks began to show in his armor. Stronger, smarter opponents found ways to get past him. Injuries began to slow him down. And with those challenges came something Genzo had never truly faced: helplessness. For the first time, sheer effort couldn't guarantee perfection. But Genzo Wakabayashi was not one to break. Instead, he confronted this new reality head-on. He left the familiar grounds of Japan and traveled to Germany, throwing himself into a brutal football culture where talent was just the starting point, not the finish line. Here, he wasn't special anymore. He was just another player who had to prove himself every single day. Training was relentless. Every mistake was magnified and exposed. He had to rebuild his identity from the ground up, not just defend it. It was in Germany that he learned a painful but vital lesson. A goalkeeper isn't an island. True strength wasn't just about stopping shots. It was about leadership, communication, and trust. It was about coordinating the defense, guiding your teammates, and working as a single, cohesive unit. This realization didn't make Genzo soft, it made him smarter. He remained intense, disciplined, and fiercely competitive, but his understanding of the game had matured. He started to lead his teammates instead of just commanding them. He learned to accept their support without seeing it as a sign of his own weakness. His definition of control shifted from isolation to shared responsibility. Genzo Wakabayashi's journey isn't really about being unbeatable. It's about the power of growth under immense pressure. It's the story of a boy who thought perfection was his shield, and the man who learned that real resilience comes from adapting. He still stands in that goal, but not as a lone wall. He stands there as a leader, the foundation of his team, fully aware that even the strongest defense is just one part of a greater whole. His story reminds us that true strength isn't about never falling. It's about learning how to get back up, stronger and wiser, every single time the ball finally gets past you.